mean, wow. Wow.
Angel Reese is definitely finding her own, and I think
knowing the way they treat her, they would probably fine her and suspend her.
The behavior that Angel Reese has been displaying is embarrassing.
What happens when one of the most dominant young stars in women's basketball completely loses control on national television? When Angel Reese smacked a clipboard clean out of her assistant coach's hands during a live broadcast, it wasn't just a heat-of-the-moment reaction, it was a warning shot to the entire WNBA. The fallout was instant. Fans were stunned. Analysts were speechless. The Chicago Sky didn't just bench her, they suspended her indefinitely. But what most people missed is that this wasn't just about a clipboard. This was about a locker room falling apart, a season spiraling out of control, and a superstar whose fire might be burning too hot for her own team to handle. Angel Reese is no stranger to headlines, but lately, the headlines have been less about her numbers and more about her attitude. She's dropped double-doubles like it's routine, 22 points, 15 boards, all while carrying a crumbling franchise on her back. And yet, every highlight has been overshadowed by one meltdown after another. From fiery press conferences to heated clashes with refs, and now a shocking act of defiance against her own coach, Angel's journey this season has turned from inspirational to explosive. The real question isn't whether Angel Reese is talented, we already know she is. The question is whether the league, her teammates, and even her coaches can keep up with her, or have they already lost control? This story isn't just about basketball, it's about power, pressure, and the moment when leadership turns into rebellion. Stick around because what you're about to hear will change the way you see Angel Reese, and maybe even the WNBA. In a moment that stunned fans and sent shockwaves across the WNBA, Angel Reese found herself at the center of yet another controversy after smacking a clipboard out of her assistant coach's hands during a live broadcast on July 7th. The scene played out in real time. Reese, fresh off delivering a powerhouse performance of 22 points and 15 rebounds, approached the bench during a tense timeout. Frustrated by the team's close 2-point loss to the Washington Mystics, she unleashed her anger in a way few expected. Cameras caught every second of the outburst, from her stern walk to the bench to the split-second slap that sent the clipboard flying. And with that, the league's most polarizing star had once again made headlines, not for her skill, but for her temperament. The Chicago Sky moved quickly, announcing an indefinite suspension that same day. For many, it was the final straw in a season full of emotional flare-ups and locker room tension. As the footage went viral, fans and analysts began asking the same question. Has Angel Reese crossed a line the league can no longer ignore? What's especially troubling about the latest incident is how little attention was paid to Reese's on-court performance. Statistically, she had a brilliant game, 22 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, a double-double that most players would kill for. But those numbers disappeared under the weight of her behavior. ESPN, Bleacher Report, and nearly every sports outlet led not with her stats, but with the clipboard slap. Social media lit up, not with praise for her dominance, but with criticism and disappointment. In one of the most telling signs of her growing reputation, even longtime supporters began expressing concern. What does it mean when a player's performance is completely eclipsed by their actions? For Angel Reese, the answer is complicated. She's undoubtedly one of the league's most talented young stars, but the conversation has shifted. Now, instead of talking about her impact on the court, the league and its fans are dissecting her every move off it. Her performance is no longer just measured in points and rebounds, but in poise, professionalism, and leadership, or the perceived lack thereof. The incident didn't come out of nowhere. Angel's frustration has been building all season, evident in every timeout huddle, every animated sideline exchange, and every post-game presser. The clipboard slap wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment action, it was the boiling point. The Chicago Sky's season has been a series of near misses and heartbreaking losses, with mounting pressure on the team's young star to carry the load. Every missed call, every blown lead, and every locker room disagreement has been stacking on her shoulders. That kind of pressure doesn't just stay buried. It shows up in eye rolls, in shouted instructions, and eventually, in national TV meltdowns. Reese is not the first emotional player in professional sports, but the level of scrutiny she faces amplifies everything tenfold. Critics argue that passion is no excuse for disrespect, especially especially when it happens in public. Supporters say she's being targeted, held to impossible standards while simply trying to win. Either way, it's clear that this wasn't a one-time outburst. It was a signal that something deeper is unraveling. As the season progresses, the real story isn't just Angel's behavior, it's the unraveling of the Chicago Sky as a cohesive team. The franchise is currently hanging around a 5-13 record, and that's not just bad, it's disastrous. From the outside, it looks like a team collapsing under its own weight. There's no chemistry, no spark, no sign of a unified locker room. Timeout huddles look like battlegrounds. Post-game interviews sound like therapy sessions. And the clipboard moment felt less like a shocking surprise and more like the inevitable next step. It's not about one player anymore. It's about a culture that seems to be rotting from the inside. Teammates look unsure, body language is off, and it's clear the emotional toll is taking a toll on everyone. The question now is whether the team can salvage anything from this wreckage. Can they regroup? Can they put egos aside and play as a unit? Or has the damage already been done? This leads to another critical question. Where is Coach Tyler Marsh in all of this? As the leader of the team, Marsh's lack of immediate response to the clipboard incident drew just as much criticism as Reese's actions. There was no timeout called, no visible reprimand, no benching, just silence. And in professional sports, silence is often seen as weakness. Marsh, a relatively new coach still finding his footing in the league, now finds himself under the microscope. Critics have accused him of losing control of the team, of enabling bad behavior, and of failing to establish authority. When your star player publicly disrespects an assistant coach and the head coach does nothing, it sends a message, one that says chaos is acceptable, that there are no consequences. And once that message is sent, it's almost impossible to take back. The locker room sees it, the front office sees it, and so do the fans. Marsh is no longer just coaching for wins, he's coaching for credibility. But to fully understand how we got here, we have to rewind the tape to June 2025, when tensions first boiled over in a matchup between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. That night, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark didn't just battle on the court, they clashed in every sense of the word. There were heated exchanges, trash talk, and what some called a borderline physical altercation. The moment blew up online, with fans taking sides and media outlets dissecting every frame. Reese was hit with an indefinite suspension for what the team called conduct detrimental to the organization. It was a strong message at the time, straighten up or sit down. But when she returned, the behavior didn't seem to change. If anything, it escalated. July brought another meltdown after a loss to the Lynx, with Reese openly torching the officiating in a post-game presser. She used phrases like diabolical and said she didn't give a damn about being fined. That kind of rhetoric might energize fans, but it puts the league in a tight spot. How do you support a star who continually challenges authority? As the season wore on, Angel wasn't just fighting opponents. She was battling the referees, the media, and possibly even her own organization. Her post-game tirades became must-watch content. Her social media accounts turned into battlegrounds. Every call she disagreed with, every moment she felt disrespected, she let it be known. And while that fire endeared her to many fans, particularly those who saw her as standing up to unfair treatment, it also exhausted the patience of others. League officials reportedly began monitoring her more closely. Rumors of stricter fines and possible disciplinary action circulated. And within the WNBA front office, whispers grew louder about whether she was becoming more of a liability than an asset. The line between passion and disruption was getting harder to see, and Angel was dancing on it like a tightrope. Amid all this, a new debate emerged. Is Angel Reese being judged more harshly than others because of who she is? Her supporters argue that when male athletes explode on the sidelines, they're called competitive, fierce, even passionate. But when Angel does the same, she's labeled unstable, emotional, or uncoachable. It's a double standard that many fans, and even some former players, have spoken out about. They point to race, gender, and reputation as factors that color the public's perception. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about image, equity, and how narratives are shaped. And while Angel's actions do need to be held accountable, many believe the media's coverage has bordered on excessive. The nuance gets lost. The story becomes one-dimensional, and Angel, once hailed as the league's future, is now portrayed as its biggest problem. Behind closed doors, discussions within the Sky organization are reportedly heating up. Some insiders believe a trade might be the only way to resolve the tension. It's a drastic move, trading your star player, but sometimes necessary when a team dynamic becomes toxic. Angel's contract, her marketability, and her talent make her an appealing target for other teams, but the baggage she brings could scare off suitors. Still, if the sky continue to falter, and if the incidents continue to pile up, it might not be a matter of if, but when. A trade wouldn't just reshape the sky, it would shake up the entire league. The message would be clear: no one is above the team. Ultimately, this season may become the defining chapter of Angel Reese's career. Will she evolve into a leader who commands respect and delivers on the promise of her talent? Or will she be remembered as a star who burned too hot and too fast, undone by her own fire? At the moment, the scales could tip either way. The clipboard incident is more than a headline. It's a symbol of a team at a crossroads and a player standing on the edge of greatness or implosion. The next move might be hers, but everyone else will be watching.